Welcome to Evo 10 ECU Flash Training Part 12. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at our spark timing and our knock control. We're going to find that spark timing and knock control go hand in hand. We need to understand what spark timing represents in our spark timing tables, and then registering knock and how to read that in our data logs, and being able to use that to be able to edit our spark timing. So we're going to go through that workflow and that general log capture and analysis in our Megalog viewer. I'm going to show you how to build a custom histogram to most efficiently process that knock data. And then we're also going to be learning how we can capture data in our EvoScan software to be able to log the knock information so that we can determine if it's false knock or real knock. So if you have a built 4B11 engine that's making a lot of power, that has aftermarket internals, you may be picking up false knock. So we have a very easy way to determine if that knock is real or not, and what steps we need to take in order to get around that so that we have the knock sensor more accurate for the engine that we're working with. We're gonna have a lot to cover, so let's jump into this video so we can check everything out. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna be taking a look at working with our spark timing and our knock control in our Evo 10 ECUs. Spark timing is something that a lot of people struggle with, and that's what we're gonna really dig in here so you understand what it represents, what we're trying to accomplish with our spark timing tables, things that we want to avoid, which is going to be knock, how to properly tune our spark timing tables to not get knocked. So we're going to be looking here both in our ECU Flash software. We're also going to be taking a look just briefly into our EvoScan software of things we want to log. Then we're going to be taking a look at Megalog viewer so we can look at some example data logs I'm going to be providing here so that we can build out our histogram to be able to evaluate our spark timing and knock, and then also going in and taking a look at some specific things to tell if we have real knock or false knock, which can be a problem if you have a built engine or bigger cams. It's going to be throwing off the knock sensor calibration. So there's a lot of things to talk about here. So very first thing we're going to do, jump into our file here. I have a 2010 USDM 5-speed manual GSR file. We're going to move in here and take a look at our spark timing table. Talk about the table, get that out of the way. That's kind of the basis here of spark timing tuning. We're going to go through a conceptual example so it makes a lot more sense, and then kind of just keep moving through what we need to know in order to learn the most about spark timing. So what we're going to find here, if we move into our current ROM metadata, if we scroll down, we're going to get into an area called timing. This is where we have our spark timing tables that we need to work with. So there's going to be our spark timing tables, both a low and a high octane. We'll get into why there's two different tables. There's also going to be some other subtables that are modifiers to that, which we'll talk about as well, such as our air temp compensation or EGR timing advanced or ignition warm-up retard. So we'll just briefly touch on those as well. Let's jump in here to our high octane timing map here and we'll get familiar with this. So we'll actually have our high and low octane if we wanted to open both of these up here. We're going to find that these tables are based on engine RPM here on our left axes. On our top axes, they're based on load. So it's going to be a three-dimensional table, depending on what our load's reading, depending on what our engine RPM's reading. It's going to go source a value here within the table. That's what it's going to be commanding the spark to happen at. Now, we're going to find that, just for reference sake here, 100 in the load should correspond to roughly 0 psi. From 0 to 90 here, that should be our vacuum area of operation. From 120 and above here in load, this should be boost pressure, positive manifold pressure. So as long as we've represented the math calculations and the map calculations properly, we'll find that the load here should be falling in line with what we just described there. That's when we know we have things sorted out, and it's going to be pretty accurate as far as our load calculation goes. That's one of the very most important things when we start to do our tuning process. We want to see that the load and the PSI here are going to have a proper correlation so that when it's looking up spark timing values in the table, it's going to be delivering the appropriate amount of spark timing. So it's not going to have too little spark timing or too much spark timing. Now, the values in the table here, these are going to be a representation of degrees before top dead center. That's when we want our spark plug to fire to initiate the combustion to start off the process. So to better understand these tables here, let me just close out my low octane table. To better understand the table and spark timing in general, I have coming up on the screen here a auto cycle. We're going to take a look at, quickly run through the different strokes of the auto cycle, and then move into focusing into the spark timing so it makes a little bit more sense what we're working with in the values in the table. So what we're going to find here, as this graphical illustration is going to start, the intake valve is going to open. It's going to be drawing in the fuel and air mixture into the cylinder. The piston's going to be... Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.